Alrighty, so today I'm going to show you how you can set up intake packets for your clients. And so these intake packets can be easily sent out the minute that you create the client in the system. Um, and I'll show you how to do that once it's actually created, but it makes it so seamless and easy. And so here we go. So we're going to go to settings, we're going to go to account settings, and we'll go to surveys and packets. And so here you'll be in the surveys tab, and this is where you're actually going to create your surveys. So we have some templates that you're welcome to use. They're down here. You can press copy and customize and just use these forms or these surveys to build your own, or you could build it completely from scratch. And so these surveys here are what are actually going to make up your packet. And so you're going to choose kind of what surveys go into your intake packet. So for example, if you wanted to create an informational welcome message for your clients, right? This is just one that I started, right? So general welcome message. I could click here in the middle section. This is a rich text field. And rich text basically allows you to format and make different sizes, things like that. You could do headers, you could do whatever you'd like. And so here, for example, I've highlighted all these things, right? And so say I also want to add my logo to the top. So if I press this little image button, I can go here and I'd be able to, let's just go and do, for example, there. And so now I have my logo right here at the top of my intake or my welcome message. So if I save that, you see I'm going to have kind of my welcome message, and so that's good to go. So then if I want to create a packet, which is going to put all of those surveys together to make it super easy for my client, I'm going to go over to packets. I'm going to press add new packet, and I could say practice intake packet. This description here is just for me as the clinician to help me know what's in there. So I could say, welcome message, consent form, and auth to release. Something like that, right? I'm going to want to make sure if this is my intake packet that I check off this is an intake packet. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is how the system is going to recognize that your client has A, been sent the intake packet, and B, that they've completed it. So in the client list, there is a header that says intake, and you'll see like a red X, a yellow X, and a green check mark. The red X means they have not been sent an intake packet, excuse me. A yellow X means they have been sent it through the portal, but they haven't completed it, and the green check means they have completed it. So here I've named my packet, I've put in a description, and I can even do a subject. So when my intake packet goes out, I want it to say, please complete intake packet. And then I could put whatever I want in the subject, in the body, excuse me. And here in surveys is where I'm actually going to choose which surveys are going to make up my intake packet. So say I want to do demographic information, I want to do the general intake questionnaire, and I want to have my general welcome message. So I can drag them and actually order. So if I want my general welcome message to be first, I would just drag it above demographic information, and then here you go. So if I press save changes, that's going to be my packet. And so in order to send out the packets automatically when you create a client, you're actually going to want to make an intake cohort. And so here, for example, I'm going to say add new cohort. And this is where I can set up my intake packet and have it scheduled so that the second I add a client and I assign them to that cohort, the packet's going to be sent. So I could say, consent packet. And the description could just be sent to all new clients. Oops. And so now with the cohort, I'm going to pick a packet to assign to that cohort. So here, add packet for consent. I'm going to go and I'm going to pick that one that I just made. What was it called? Oh, practice intake packet, right? And so I'll press save. And here where it says configure, I'm going to click on configure, and I'm going to choose one time only. So this means that as soon as the client's added, it's going to send that packet to them just one time only. The reason there's other options is because you could create, say, a routine outcome measure or something like that you want to send on a schedule. So say I wanted to send it 48 hours after the third session, continue every 3 sessions. I could set up my packets to be sent like that, but for an intake packet, typically we would just do one time only. I could also choose to send a reminder. So if I wanted to remind them to complete that every 1 day for a maximum of 3 times, If they complete it, they're not going to get reminded again, but if they haven't completed it, they will receive an additional reminder that they have a packet to be completed. So I'm going to press my Save Changes button there. And now I'll show you how to actually add a client and send them that intake packet all at once. So what I'll do is I'll press New Client. I could put in their name. Let's do Brad Pitt. And say I put in their email address, and this Enroll in Client Portal button, as long as they have an email address entered, they'll be able to be enrolled in the client portal. And so cohorts, this is where you're actually going to choose that consent packet. So boom, I chose consent packet. I'm good to go. I'm going to press Add Client. And so immediately, Brad Pitt's going to be sent an invitation to the client portal, and then he's also going to get the intake packet sent to him. So he will get he will get an email that lets him know he has a packet. If he logs into his portal, he'll also, in his to-do list, he'll see he has a check mark or a 1. It'll be like a little 1 designation, and that means that they have an intake packet to complete. And so it takes a little bit, but basically the way you'll be able to check is here in the clients list. You can see, all right, so Cheryl was sent the intake packet, but she did not complete it. Michelle was sent it and she did complete it. And then these folks did not receive the intake packet at all. One other way that you can send PDFs if you don't want to create your intake packet in the form of a survey is you could go to Messages, and you could actually just message that new person. So say I wanted to do, Brad Pitt, I want to send him the intake packet. I could say, please complete intake, attached you'll find, oh my goodness, you'll find the intake packet, please complete prior to your first appointment. And then I could actually click, if I've uploaded it to my personal drive, so that's in settings in the document center, there's a personal drive and there's a practice shared documents. So personal drive, say I want to, say this was my intake packet, for example, it's in a PDF form. If I press select, that's gonna send that PDF with this message. So all I have to do is press send, and then it's gonna send off to Brad Pitt in the form of a PDF. The reason you might not want to do that is because if you do want to collect signatures, that's something that you can set up in the surveys. So if you had a consent form or something like that, that's mainly informational, but then you want them to sign it, you would just add a signature field to the end of that survey. And so here I can see, okay, he was invited to the portal, and it might not be sent yet, but soon I'd be able to see that they also received the intake packet. So there are a couple places you can check, which is in events, it would say that they have an intake packet sent, and then in surveys in the history tab, you could see that as well. It looks like, I just sent it, so it's going to take a couple minutes. But anyways, that's how you set up a packet. If you have any questions, please reach out to support. We'd be happy to help.